Hello and welcome to Smash Hit Sports. I'm Cody. That's Nick. He's an expert in ball security. And today we are going to recap all of the biggest moves from this offseason of college football. We're going to throw our listeners' hot takes out there and give some reactions to that because I am just getting after it right now. But the Sam Hartman meme where it looked like he was sucking two dicks on the sideline.
How did no one say, like, yo, who are you?
Michigan State played a college football playoff game. Their ceiling is to get back there, and I think they can under Jonathan Smith.
Yeah, that's a 5 for me. They're not getting 10 wins. The Big Ten's not like this juggernaut.
Nick, it's August. It's football season. We're here. Yeah. Camp has begun. Like, players are reporting. Unfortunately, we have injuries that go along with that. Would kind of suck, but it just feels so good to be in a month where football is being played.
Yeah. Again, that Hall of Fame game, whether or not you watch it or not, I mean, that's kind of that like holiday of like, oh, it's here. Like now I can do 2 mock drafts a day and not, feel bad about it. I can, I'm playing my college football game. I'm freaking doing all this research, but now it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm just crazy doing it way too in advance. Like we are here and it feels really nice. That's all I did today. I'm not going to lie. And I loved it.
Hell yeah. The college football game being back is the perfect lead-in to football season. Like, you get to go through the rosters, you get to dick around with the teams and the uniforms and the schedules, and it makes everything come together. I'm so glad that college football is officially, the game is officially back.
The problem on my end is that I've been playing my Clemson dynasty. Like, if I'm not doing my online dynasty, I'm doing Clemson. And I'm in like 2033 and everyone's fake. And the head coach is like, there's nothing that I'm learning through doing that because like Western Kentucky is number 1 in the country this year. Like there's not productive in that sense. But when you're playing online dynasty and you're like, all your buddies are different teams, you're checking stats, you actually get to learn a lot about these rosters and stuff. Cause I'm not well versed in, maybe Indiana's roster. Like, I would not have known much about it.
Yeah, this might be my hot take, but I think we're going to have more the ball knowledge of the general public. I think is going to be higher this year because of the game.
100%.
Like just
it'll be
exposure
like
to college football is better.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of the game, we were just talking about this off air, but the 2-minute warning fucked with me so hard when we started playing with that. So there are a handful of rule changes that are being implemented this year into college football. We all know about conference realignment. We get it. We beat it to death. Don't want to talk about it. We all know about NIL. I'm so sick and tired of talking about it, so we're not going to talk about it. But on the field rule changes, there are 3 this year. The 2-minute warning, I hate it. I feel like that was uniquely NFL, and it's invading my college football space.
No, it sucked. That first 2-minute warning that hit when I was playing the game was like a travesty. We were talking about, like, I thought it was a mistake. You thought it was a mistake. I was like, oh no, they fucked up the code and they forgot to change it from Madden. Like, they added the 2-minute warning. That's what an error. But no, it's real. And I'm sure we'll get used to it almost immediately, but it's fresh on our minds now. And I agree that it felt like really cool that college football didn't really have that. Cause now the clock just stops. Well, hold on. Because I get jumbled, too many sports in my life, but does the clock still stop after first downs?
Only after the 2-minute warning.
Okay.
So the clock only stops on first downs after the 2-minute warning. So the end of the first half and the end of the second half.
So because that already felt like such an advantage to me that like you didn't need the 2-minute warning. Because it's like, well, you basically have like a mini timeout every time you get a first down. Right? Like you go up, spike the ball, no time came off the clock. You can throw it over the middle. It's so hard to defend. Now you add the 2-minute warning. Now it's just like the end of the game might really drag on. It's going to allow more comebacks, I bet. Maybe some more chaos, some more parity in that sense, but it's kind of crazy to have both.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it does allow for some better moments. So that the clock only stopping after first downs, the last 2 minutes of the half, that's the rule change number 2. Rule change number 3, and they might as well call this the Michigan
new rule change.
Yes, that is a new rule change.
Okay, all right.
So, yes, because it used to be the clock stopped on first downs
The whole game.
The entire game.
And I thought maybe they like got rid of it altogether, which also would have pissed me off, but it's whatever. Go on. Number 3.
Yep. So it's the last 2 minutes of the half. So it will seem like the ends of these games drag on and the ends of halves drag on. And it's because of that, the clock is legitimately slower during those times. The third rule change, and they might as well call this the Michigan rule, helmet communication in college football. We've had it in the NFL for over a decade. We will now have helmet comms in college football, which I think is going to be an interesting wrinkle. I like it for 2 reasons. One, I think we are actually going to get a better quality of game because the coaches are able to communicate directly with the players, right? No different than an offensive coordinator talking with the quarterback before, the play starts until there's a certain point on the play clock where the comms shut off.
Yeah.
The bad news.
It's terrible news, this part.
The quarterbacks where they do the fucking stupid goofy hand signals.
Yeah, dude.
Which first off, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube, you need to subscribe to the YouTube because I am just getting after it right now. But the Sam Hartman meme where it looked like he was sucking 2 dicks on the sideline, we're going to lose that now. We're going to lose that. And that was something about the beauty and the stupidity of college football. And they had those stupid fucking signs.
That's my favorite thing is like it's the signs where it's like Scooby-Doo, Marilyn Monroe, like Gary from SpongeBob, and then like George Bush. And it's like, okay, what does that mean? I fucking love looking at the sidelines. Like, oh my God, what are their signs? We don't have that anymore. That sucks. And I'm just finding out now. So it's a live reaction. If you're watching live, you could see that I'm very disappointed facially. But yeah, I don't know. Like maybe you would miss the hand gesture towards the mouth a little more than me. I'm fine without that.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, your words, not mine. But the signs I will definitely miss. So that is kind of sad. But you're right that it should make the game probably a little more fluent, right?
Yep. Before we go on to the next topic in our off-season recap, I have put out a complete betting guide to college football this season. It's 100+ pages. Nick has seen it. I truly think it is the best tool to help you win more money betting college football this year. So you can get that at the link in my bio or the link in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, I truly think $20, it's absolutely worth it in my mind.
You get so much information. I mean, pretty much everything that you would want or need. Like today, for instance, I'm trying to predict every single game for every single team because we're about to start this grit week. Or what you could say, where we're just going through every single Power 5 team and just I have to have all this knowledge. I was like, part of me wanted to just use the game, the like EA college football. Then I was like, oh wait, Cody has this freaking 1 million page manifesto that I can just.
It's only 100. Hey, we can't be calling it a manifesto.
Well, no, manifestos in. Manifestos are back in. Wait until that. That Netflix doc is coming out soon. It's going to be great.
I'm excited for that Netflix doc. I think the Netflix doc on the Michigan scandal is going to be one of the most interesting sports documentaries we've had in a long time because this truly is like Swamp Kings was like, it was good, but it was kind of a different doc and it was a while ago. This is so fresh. Like this happened legitimately last year. It's wild how quickly this
things, it was good, but they could have like gone down like the dark side of it a lot more. Yeah. And I think that's why people were so excited about it, or were like, we need a documentary about the '08 Gators because he had frickin' like Riley Cooper saying the N-word, Aaron Hernandez killing people and stuff. Like Tim Tebow, the Christian guy at the center of it all. We didn't have that much of that. Here, Connor Stallions is like going to break his silence in this documentary. Like we haven't really heard his point of view at all, like this is something that, and a lot of people don't understand like the jargon behind what was happening. They just know like, oh, Michigan was cheating. They were doing all that. But like, I'm fascinated to see like the deep roots of how this started, how this, how this like the chain of effects or events is going to happen after. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. The NCAA announced either today or yesterday that Harbaugh is barred from college football for the next 4 years. So if he comes back to college football at any point in the next 4 years, he will be fully suspended for one season before he can begin as a head coach.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like a
think
show
he's
cause,
going to
right?
come back. Yeah.
No, well, no, he's not. He's 60 years old, so he's not. I mean, what a perfect situation for him. He doesn't have to worry about that at all. It's basically nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's like
Yeah, his
yeah,
did you read his statement?
no.
He's just basically like, I didn't do anything wrong. And they're like, I would apologize if I did something wrong. I'm not going to apologize because I didn't do anything wrong.
I
And
think I think there's a real chance he didn't, if I'm being honest.
Dude, there's no shot.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure that there are so many things that are hidden from the head coach, you know? Like, that's the fucking boss. Like, how many things happen at like a workplace that like the boss isn't going to find out, you know?
That's fair. I guess that is point. There's shit that I don't tell my boss. He doesn't listen to this.
Exactly.
So
Like, I'm just
okay.
thinking like that. It would not shock me if he's actually just did not know about this.
Yeah.
Because if he found out, I'm sure he would have been like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know?
Yeah.
I don't think Harbaugh's a nut job, or I mean, well, he is a nut job a little bit, but like, I don't think he's like
the nut job in the other way, where he is a football purist. Yeah,
love football.
Exactly.
So there's no way.
Are you excited for the Harbaugh Bowl to come back as a Harbaugh fan, or at least the Jim side of this equation?
I'm a John Harbaugh supporter through and through. It's a little rivalry. So honestly, maybe I should be saying Jim Harbaugh did know about it because it's a rivalry. But just keeping it real, unbiased. But yeah, very excited for that. I'm glad they put it on primetime as well. I mean, it's crazy because like it's my childhood, and then Jim Harbaugh left, and now it's just like nothing changed. I'm gonna get all nostalgic probably.
Yep. Should be a great matchup. The confirmation of Connor Stallions by the NCAA investigation that he was confirmed on Central Michigan's sideline is objectively hilarious.
Yeah, he was disguised. He had a mustache and glasses on, and they were like, "Yeah, that's that's Joe. He's our special teams coordinator." Like, how did they not? How do they not be like, who the fuck is that? I don't know.
Somebody at CMU has to get fired, right? Like, there's no way.
Crazy. How did no one say like, "Yo, who are you?"
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, maybe they did, and he was like, "Oh, I'm like, I don't know, like name 5 brothers," and he had it. He had like 5 guys that he could name.
Bro, who do you know here?
Crazy. Yeah, and he was like, "I got it." Like, yeah, he named 5, and they were like, "All right, he's chill, I guess." I don't know. It's nuts. That's why I can't wait. I needed to hear these stories.
Exactly. They also said that Sharon Moore deleted like 50 some texts. Michigan deleted several hard drives worth of data as a part of this NCAA investigation. I don't think that they're going to put any sort of sanctions on Michigan. And they're in a weird spot where the NCAA doesn't actually own the college football playoff. That is a separate entity. So they can't ban Michigan from the college football playoff. So I don't know if there's going to be repercussions from this, or if Michigan's just going to get like a slap on the wrist. Maybe they lose scholarships, but like in today's day and age, if you lose scholarships, what the fuck does that matter? Just pay them with NIL. So I'm genuinely interested in how like Michigan is going to be affected by this going forward.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. It's definitely very strange. I didn't know really that the CFP was a separate entity. That's kind of news to me as well. So that's interesting. It's everything about it's wild. It's just we need that dog. That's all I have to say.
Yep. But that kind of wraps up the biggest scandals of the offseason. Outside of that, we haven't had any like Bobby Petrino didn't, wreck his motorcycle with a co-ed on the back. We didn't have a stripper's monkey bite some kid at a birthday party. Like Utah State's head coach resigned / was fired, but nobody knows why. So I guess there's that, but like there's no story to it because they literally.
What story do you think? Because last offseason, we had the Northwestern hazing story. And then this
Yes.
year, I guess it's this, Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan drama, which obviously we also had last year, but like it feels like it's reigniting right now. Coming into us starting up the college football pod again, what's crazier? Because the Northwestern one was really fucking crazy, but this feels maybe like it's a larger scale.
Yeah, I mean the Michigan scandal is going to be just because it happened with a team that won a national title. Like that's going to be
Yeah.
a story that we talk about for decades. If Michigan had lost to Alabama in the Final Four, we wouldn't be talking about it now. But
They
it,
won. Exactly.
they
And of
didn't.
course, there's no documentary about the Northwestern hazing, although that's not to say that there couldn't be. I think it's just because it's Northwestern. They were like a 3-9 team. So to your point, also, I remembered what I was going to say. But yeah, you were saying that Sharon Moore deleted 50 something messages, right?
Mhm.
And in my head, all I can think about is just like, how is there not a way to like retrieve those, But then in my head again, I'm like, it's actually probably a really good thing that if you want something to be gone forever, you still have that control. Just because you said something on your phone shouldn't mean that it exists forever past your lifetime. But like it's kind of like a hot topic right now because there's that guy that shot at Trump who deleted everything, and they're like, yeah, like we can't find it. It's like surely you can find it. You're the FBI, but no, I guess not. So
Yeah.
deleting
The
stuff is
FBI and Ohio State, the two best investigators of our lifetime. Can't
yeah,
can't bring back deleted text.
yeah, yeah. Spot the difference between the FBI and Ohio State.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Before we get into the next segment, we got to plug Home Field. They have the best college merch in the game. They are currently dropping premium college football boxes. These boxes have sweatshirts, shirts, socks, 20% off future Home Field orders, like stickers, everything that you need to prepare for your team's football season is in these college football boxes. They are absolutely outstanding. If you are watching on YouTube, I have a Home Field shirt on, the Dunking Irishman. A great logo. It truly is some of the best college sports apparel in the game. So if
Let's
you
see what
want to get your Home Field merch, use code NICK15 for 15% off your first purchase at Home Field, or go in the
I got
link in the
this sick
description of
shirt,
this
Cody.
video. Ooh, ooh, that's a beautiful shirt.
Just
Just
college
college
basketball.
basketball. There's
So
nothing
sick,
more to be
dude.
said. Nothing
Literally,
more to be said.
I wear this, chicks come flocking. That's just all you need to know.
Crazy
So
how
go
that
to home
works.
field.
Crazy how that works. All
Go to
right,
home field.
let's we did have, like any other offseason in college football, we have a lot of coaches, moved a lot of spots. Who are your best hires from this offseason cycle? Because I'll go first, and I know it might be like a maybe a chalk pick. I don't know. I love Michigan State hiring Jonathan Smith from Oregon State. I think Jonathan Smith was a great defensive mind at Oregon State. He brought Aiden Childs with him at quarterback, who I think is going to be a star at Michigan State in the near future. He's a true sophomore. But I think that is the hire that Michigan State needed to make sure that they do not fall in the new era of the Big Ten. I think he is going to get Michigan State in a spot where they can get back to competing for, like, Michigan State played a college football playoff game. Like, that's
Yeah, I know.
their
That's
ceiling
like
is to get back there, and I think they can under Jonathan Smith.
they genuinely. I one like when Michigan State's good at football. They're like a good Michigan State Penn State game, Michigan State Notre Dame, Michigan State Michigan. Like from the
Yep.
2010s, some of the best games of that decade, Michigan State is involved in. So they were tracking towards like relegation, dude. Like it.
Yeah.
This is a massive higher. So I like that answer a lot. Now, that does not mean that they're going to be worth a damn this year. They won't be. They're going to be probably really bad. But at least the trajectory is there, and we'll probably see flashes of competence, whereas last year there was nothing. So,
Yeah.
good answer in that sense. For me, I think it's between Kurt Signetti, Indiana, because
Yeah.
there was hype around Indiana for the first time in my life, genuinely. and that is because of this hire. People are saying, "Oh, Indiana, I got them going 8-4." It's like, what? They had Michael Penix. They were bad. Like that's a great hire. He was awesome at JMU, but I think my answer would be Mike Elko at A&M. If you're going to buy out Jimbo Fisher for $200 billion, you have to get that next coach right. And I really do think that they did. Like, you get a humble guy from Duke who is happy to be leading a college like Duke into, media height last year. Didn't even have that crazy of a year, but you could see the passion from the fan base was there. The effort from the players was there. The interest overall was there. Like, Texas A&M, this massive stadium, massive fan base, they should always be how, Duke was last year in that sense. So I like that hire just for almost like the energy more than anything, but I'm sure he's going to do great things with that roster as well.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Mike Elko is he consistently got the best out of his players, but Duke is not a college football recruiting hotspot. Texas A&M is. So if he can get the best out of those guys in College Station, Texas A&M could be a force. And
I know Connor Wegman, I feel like, who's to say that he can't be a Heisman winner this year, right? Like, that's a guy that I think could be a first-round draft pick. He's very talented. Like, we'll see what happens, but I really like that hire. I think A&M will be good.
Yep, I agree. Last sponsor before we get into the follower hot takes, SeatGeek. I'm hoping to go to a couple games this year, Nick. I don't know if you have any games on your schedule that you're slated to go to, but if you are going to a game, use SeatGeek. You can get $20 off your first purchase if you use code SmashHitsSports. Save yourself a little money. Go to SeatGeek. They have a super easy online platform. That's where we go to get our tickets.
Sure.
Are you going to any games this year that you know of yet?
Thinking about going to homecoming for Clemson, which is the Stanford game, which would be cool to see, like Stanford ACC.
Cool. Yeah.
Wild. And then other than that, I know Clemson is playing in Virginia Tech. Part of me really wants to go there just because I can't imagine the energy. It would be probably the best atmosphere that I've ever experienced. I can just say that confidently because I've been to a VT game against your Notre Dame Fighting Irish when VT was shit. And it was a night game and it was off the chains. So again, if let's say VT's a one-loss team and Clemson's a one-loss team late in the season, that's just going to get game day. Like, I want to go there really bad.
That game's in November. That could be a big football game.
But the setback is I would be in Blacksburg, and I would probably be going with more Virginia Tech people than I would Clemson. So that's just, it's like, do I want to potentially take on a bunch of negative shit if we lose that game? Or even before, I'll probably be getting chirped the whole time.
It could be tough. But the environment of that, Enter Sandman on a Saturday night.
But do I jump if I'm a Clemson guy?
No, absolutely not. You stand there, you take it like a man.
It's tough, dude. But you're right. I can't. So that's another thing. It's I'd almost rather go to a VT game and just be undercover. No one knows where my allegiance is. And I can kind of just be pumping fist. But this way, no, if I'm jumping in my Trevor Lawrence jersey, they're going to be like, this guy's a bandwagon. He doesn't give a shit. It's no, you don't understand. I just love the sport. And I love
You went there. What else do you have to say? Yeah, I graduated from Clemson.
But I also you know what I mean? There's a difference between being a diehard Clemson fan and just it's the NFL hat that Rob Lowe would wear.
Oh, yeah.
If I had just a college football hat, I love the sport, dude. Let me have fun, even though you're playing my team right now. I want to enjoy Enter Sandman. Protect the shield.
Yep. Protect the shield. All right, let's get into follower hot takes. I put this It was essentially an open-ended question on my Instagram. I said, give me your hottest takes of the college football season. So, Nick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read them, and you're going to give a 1 through 5 how hot these are. So
five being the hottest?
5 being the hottest. And we're going to start off with one that I think is pretty damn hot. This is from TILI05 on Instagram. West Virginia wins both the Big 12 and one round of the college football playoffs.
Hot. That is hot. That I like Garrett Green, right? That's his quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah. So I like him. I remember him from last year. I remember we both were doing our Big 12 predictions, and we're pretty low on West Virginia, and they kind of came out of nowhere. They were a surprise. Mm-hmm. The problem is now the Big 12 gets Utah and Arizona and, freaking like Colorado. Like it, I just don't know if I can buy into them even making it to the Big 12 championship game. So I'm going to go 4. I would just be absolutely shocked if they were even top 4 in the Big 12 at the end,
I'm going to go 4 as well. It's insane, but it's not absolutely impossible.
No, of course not. Yeah, you would have to say the most egregious statement of all time to get a 5. Like that's not a 5, but that's a hot take.
All right, from Miller College Basketball, friend of the show. Once Michigan drops out of the top 10, they will not get back in the rest of the season.
If I was well versed enough in their schedule, that would help.
They play Texas week 2.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that they could lose that game and then just win again like the next week and be number 10. So that's an interest. I see where he's coming from, where it's just like the wheels are going to come off a little bit after that first loss. But so Fresno State, they win that game, then they lose to Texas, then they beat Arkansas State, USC and Minnesota. You're telling me they're not in the top 10?
But if they lose to USC, they go 2-2. But
maybe even at 2-1 after that Texas loss, they could jump back in.
Fair.
That one doesn't feel, because I know where he's coming from. I'm going to go 3, but rationally and logically, I think that there's too big of a chance that that's just too specific or something,
It's fair.
They could fall to 11 to 9 and then they're out. So I don't know. Maybe that's on me.
I like that. I'm going to say 2 for me. That's going to be a 2 for me. From Todd Lucas 10, Rutgers wins 10 games.
Goodness gracious. These are that's a 5 for me.
For what it's worth, their win total is 6.5.
Yeah, that's a 5 for me. They're not getting 10 wins. The Big 10, the Big 10's not like this juggernaut that I think like people like Colin Cowherd are pushing that agenda necessarily. But to win 10 games in a conference like that, they have to play in Lane Stadium. And I think that's Virginia Tech's first big game with all this media hype. So I think they're not going to win that. And then they can have one more loss. They play Nebraska on the road, USC on the road, Maryland on the road. Yeah, their schedule's not that hard. So maybe it's not that hot of a take, but there's no way. This is Rutgers. So still a 5 for me. Because that's just, let's be realistic. Like you have 3 or 4 good players and now you're talking 10 wins. Nah. Nope. Yep.
But I am higher on Rutgers this year. I will agree that it's a 5, but I am higher on Rutgers.
Bowl game Rutgers. Yep. I said 7-5, 8-4. You got like that. That I can see. 10-2. College football playoff. If they go 10-2, are they in the playoff?
Oh yeah.
So really the question is, do you think is Rutgers going to make the college football playoff? And you just can't. It's our job.
They would honestly be playing for a Big Ten championship.
Yeah, it's our job to say no to that. We have to say no, especially if one of those 2 losses is out of conference to BT. So 5. That's hot.
All right.
That's hot.
Last one. Speaking of Virginia Tech, From official Caleb Welchel, Kyron Drones is a Heisman sleeper.
Okay. That statement alone.
I will interpret this as he will be a finalist. Kyron Drones will be a Heisman finalist. How hot does that take?
Okay, because if the statement was he has a chance at being a Heisman finalist, then that's a 1 because I'm like, maybe. But to blanket statement say, and this isn't what he's saying, but we're going to change it.
Yeah.
Blanket statement say he will be a Heisman finalist. It's not a 5. It's not a 5 because again, if you're going to be a Heisman finalist, like Virginia Tech going 11-1 seems crazy, but that's more likely to me than Rutgers going 10-2. And if they go 11-1, who are you looking at, right? Who are you? It's like, oh my God, this team came out of nowhere. Kyron Drones probably had an insane season, entirely possible, especially because it's not like we have these generational quarterback prospects this year, right? Like the draft is looking pretty weak quarterback wise. So yeah, I'm going to go 2 on that. I don't think that's that crazy.
I will go 3, but yeah, it's not that crazy at all. He absolutely could. So I'm looking for the hot takes. I feel like they're going to get hotter as we get closer to the season, but we'll have to maybe we keep incorporating that because those were some good questions.
Maybe you just keep asking people because that's fun because I don't see them, but I like kind of know some of the followers, so it's interesting to me.
Oh yeah, we definitely have some cross-pollination on the followers there. But speaking of followers, if you are not subscribed to the podcast, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We are putting out 2 episodes a week every week from now until the start of the season. We are starting our conference previews with the ACC, so looking forward to that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will see you in the next one.